All right, we're talking about flyaways and bar dismount. Just basically any bar dismount going the way a flyaway goes, so going back flipping away from the bar. So let's see. One of the first clips we're gonna look at is Alfred's triple flyaway. All right, right here, what you'll see is this big arch shape. The idea of a flyaway is making use of the arch hollow shape change to get your hips to travel the direction you're trying to get them to go, which is up and away from the bar. So, and a lot of people forget that. They forget that it's about the hips, and so you see a lot of people thinking about getting their feet around, getting themselves rotating, but not paying as much attention to where their hips are going. So you'll see he's pressing his hips down through the bottom, shoulders open, everything's open, he's as long as possible, heels behind his back. And then you'll see what he's done is he's scooped himself from this big arch to this straight shape. And you'll look at how long he is right now. He's trying to get the longest scoop he possibly can, going from that arch to that straight shape. He's in this. I mean, you can see it looks like he's stretching out longer than he is. And then what you'll notice is if you watch his hips, the path his hips are taking, he's still got his arms by his ears. He hasn't pulled the bar toward him. That's very important. You don't want to pull the bar towards you too early or too hard, because pulling the bar towards you, I mean, if you can imagine if the bar's in his hands and he pulls it closer, it's going to pull his body closer to the bar. That's where you get those people that do double flyaway and super clip the bar, because they pull their arms down and it makes their rotation go toward the bar. So you'll notice his arms are still by his ears. He's pulled a little bit, but not a lot, and his hips are going up, 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 up. He's not just lifting his knees toward his chest. He's lifting his knees and his hips up toward the sky. And he still didn't pull that hard with his arms, but what you'll notice now is the path of his body from this flyaway, if you follow his hips, it's going up and away. It's still going up. Okay? And the thing about a flyaway is if you're doing a flyaway properly, you don't need to tuck a single flyaway, because a single flyaway, if you're doing it right, your hips will travel so well that you can do it in a laid out position fairly easily. And if you could figure out how to do that, do a single flyaway really nice and floaty without pulling with your arms and making sure that you're traveling up and out, not just rotating in place, it makes a double or even a triple a lot easier. So that was Alfred's first triple flyaway outside, by the way. I feel like it's crazy to say that first triple flyaway outside. Let's watch Eric's triple flyaway outside. The same thing, super open shape. You can see he's trying to press his head and armpits open even more. He's like trying to get really, really arched through the shoulders. The bigger you can make your arch, the better. And then you can see he's got this same scoop. Eric, you'll notice in this, is actually tapping a little later than Alfred was, because you'll see even as he passes under the bar, he's still in a slight arched position. Now he's straight. Remember, Alfred was straight right as he was underneath the bar. Eric didn't get straight until he was a little bit in front of the bar, which means he's tapping later, which means what you'll see is his momentum is going to continue longer, and he's going to go more up and less out. We see the hips going up. See, he doesn't tuck his knees in as soon as Alfred does either. He tries to keep himself straight. Now his knees are starting to tuck in. You'll see he's holding on a little longer. His arms are super by his ears. He hasn't pulled at all. And one of the great things about flyaway is if you fly away and you don't pull your shoulders, you won't hit the bar. You really won't. You'd have to try to hit the bar without pulling your shoulders. And then he releases. You notice he releases without pulling on the bar. He just lets go. You'll see he's going higher and staying closer to the bar, which is what you want. You want to be as close as you can without being so close that you hit your head, obviously. So basically the idea here with flyaway, and it's the same with flyaway as it is for triple flyaway, the idea is make your tap as aggressive as possible, make it late enough that your momentum is going quickly when you release. Because here's the thing. After you make that shape change, that arch hollow, you get a quick boost of momentum and speed, but that only lasts for a little bit. So let's say you tapped really early. Let's say Eric, instead of tapping, right here, instead of tapping, let's say he was already arched here, and then he started tapping here, and he was straight by the time he got here. his momentum would go really quickly, but then right about here, he wouldn't have any momentum left. So he would have two choices. One, release when he still has momentum, which means releasing right here, which means going straight out and down. Or wait till he gets to here, then release. But if he does that, he has zero momentum up here, and he would rotate extremely slowly and not go very high. So the timing of your tap is very important. And what for a flyaway, the timing that you want for your tap is arching before you reach the bottom of the bar, tapping through the bottom, so going to the straight position as you pass through the bottom of the bar, or like that, and then continuing up into your hollow to finish it until you reach about horizontal with the bar and actually a little higher. You want your hips at or slightly above the level of the bar. You'll notice when he releases, his hips are slightly above the bar. Now, it's important if you're doing that, and if you're swinging fast enough to do that, that you're not pulling. Because if you put your hips above the bar and then pull with your shoulders, picture that in your head, you're going to go toward the bar. Yeah, that's the ideal tap for a flyaway. Now, those are some super fast flyaways because they both did giants into them. So they had a lot more swing to work with. So I want to look at one with less swing to work with. So this is out of a cat regrab thing. I don't know if we've settled on a name for that. I'll just call it skin the cat regrab. But you'll see this is all he's got to work with. This is all the swing he's got. But you'll notice he's already in this big arch shape. He lets his hips come down a little bit, and then you'll see he actually remakes that arch shape because the original arch was too early. So he opens up his armpits. You can see, I'll play it again so you can watch. So he's arched, straight. Oh, right there. Did you see him, like, just briefly, he reopened his shoulders, pressed himself open, and now he's tapping. This tap is a lot more like Eric's tap in his other flyaway. You'll notice he didn't get straight till he was already past the bottom of the bar. Knees are coming up. You can see he's focusing on bringing his hips up. He's not doing what a lot of people do, which is when they get to here, they start just tucking their knees in. So instead of his hips going up and out, what you'll notice is their knees will just come straight into their chest because they're like, I want to tuck. Tucking equals fast, so I'm going to tuck really quick. But you'll notice he's focusing on getting his hips up. His knees aren't even anywhere near his chest. He's getting his hips up. And he still gets his hips almost to that horizontal position that he wants. Now, he's a little lower, so he has to pull a little bit with his shoulders to get a little bit more rotation. But again, that pull of the shoulders is not something to be relied on. It's something to help a little bit. If you're very good with your tap, you can start playing around with slight shoulder pull, but it's not something you should be relying on to complete your flyaway because otherwise you're learning a technique that's going to pull you closer to the bar. Like I said, you can use it as you get really good at flyaways because it does increase your rotation a lot. And you have to use it for double layout. But it's a dangerous game to play. You got to make sure you really understand the tap and can do flyaways with your shoulders in the right place before you start to pull. And as you saw with Eric, you don't have to pull. You can do triple flyaway without pulling. So yeah. But yeah, obviously he had to give himself enough rotation to make that around from that tiny swing. And he did really well because he did a really good job making use of that shape change and getting that tap to be late enough to have momentum. Because what a lot of people do when they do a small swinging double flyaway or a small swinging flyaway is they tap really early, like right here. Like imagine if he had tapped right here. He would have gotten to about here, and his momentum would be slowing down. So if he then tried to just tuck his knees in to get smaller, you may have pulled around 1, but you're not going to pull around 2. So understanding that the tap is the flyaway and your tap is your dismount is important. The tap is everything on bars. The tap is where momentum comes from. It's how you control your momentum and control the position of your hips. So there's that. And then, just to finish, let's watch a gymnast showing us how you're really supposed to make use of a shape change. This is called a Chinese tap. Let me go back just a tiny bit. Okay, so this is called a Chinese tap. They tap super late. You can see he's arched even when he's like past the bar. He's like super past the bar. He doesn't get straight till he's almost horizontal with the bar. And then he pikes it over. What this does is you'll notice he is in a super compressed pike shape. Okay? And what that means is when he opens, which you'll see him do here, he's going to open and press his hips and armpits down. He gets that absolutely enormous arch shape, and it was an aggressive change of shape. So that's going to give him a lot more momentum traveling downward because he changed his shape from hollow to arch. So his arch is going to be traveling faster. So then when he changes that arch, which again he taps late, you can see he's arched through the bottom. He gets straight as he gets past the bottom, and then travels up and releases enough to do triple twisting, double layout. But yeah, what you'll notice there is because of the Chinese tap, his arch, you can see how fast his arch travels. Now, gymnasts also get to use a bouncy bar, and the Chinese tap helps a lot because, as you'll see, it maximizes the pull he gets on the bar. He pulls the bar down as much as possible so that he can utilize the spring of that bar to go higher. We don't get to do that because we don't usually use bouncy bars, but the momentum concept is exactly the same. The bigger your shape change and the bigger your tap, and the more well-timed your tap is, the better your flyaway is going to be. So that's flyaway. I'm going to release another video today on gites because gite pimps are basically a flyaway. And I want you to watch the gite pimp one, knowing when I'm talking about tapping and utilizing that to make your hips go where you want them to. You need to understand that tapping concept in order to really do a gite well. So watch this one first, and then go watch the gite one and take this knowledge straight over to there. Thank you guys for watching. I'm getting tons of requests, and I absolutely love doing these videos, so I will try to get all of your requests done as quickly as I can. Thank you to those of you who responded with good discourse to the cheated Kong Gainer video. Obviously, it's a controversial subject. I knew I was diving into the hornet's nest with that one, but I think it's important for us as a community to talk about things like that because as parkour gets bigger and as competitions get bigger, these are things that need to be fleshed out and need to be talked about. And I think it's good to bring them into the community eye. We don't want to be afraid to talk about the things that are a little bit controversial. So thank you to those of you who had some awesome comments and discourse with me on that topic. Yeah, so yeah, let me know your future suggestions for videos, anything you want me to talk about, even if it's not a trick analysis, just something you want to hear my opinion on, like anyone wants to hear my opinion. But if for some reason you do, let me know. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you later today in the gite video. All right, peace out.